Welcome to Learn How to Meditate. I'm your host and teacher, Joel Skipper, and today I'll be teaching Lenny. Hi, Lenny.
Hello, welcome back. Glad to see you again.
Today I'll be teaching Lenny how to meditate. This is an ongoing series, so if you're just joining us, do go to the beginning because if you watch this, you're not going to know what we are doing. So trust me, go to the beginning. It's going to be worth your time. These are definitely sequential. The first one I explain why, what the channel's about, and then the rest are sequential, and we'll be building our consciousness in the endeavor of reaching higher states of enlightenment. In the first video, if you have any questions, I kind of talk about that a little bit. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Okay, here we go. Start with the review. We're going to start with the thumb and circle, 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 circle. Pull away, circle, 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 circle. Next, circle, 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 circle. See, there's quite a difference when you're doing it now than when you first started. Circle, 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 circle. Some people might be thinking, why do this at all? Circle, circle, circle. Next finger, circle, 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 circle. Next, circle, 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 circle. Next, circle, 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 circle. Well, that's a fair enough question, right? We're just moving our awareness, whoopie-doo, you know. However, it's not the exercise that matters with all these things. Exercises don't really, you're not gonna go and circle, circle, circle anywhere. So there's no practicality. There's no function for it. However, it's just like a dumbbell. What are you gonna do with a dumbbell? You're gonna work out with it. So that's what these are. So I guarantee you that you will get the results and you will make an impact in your life. Probably faster than you've ever experienced before because we're going into the deep root fuel and engine for your life. So let me stop talking. We'll get right back into it. Let's do the fingers. Let's go from the left hand, the thumb, from the tip to the base, the tip to the base, the tip, base, tip. Pull away, tip, base, tip, base, tip. Let's go to the next. Tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip. Let's go to the next. Tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip. Let's go to the next. Tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip. Let's go to the next. Tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip. Next, tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip. Next, tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip. Next, tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip. Good. All right, let's go to the feet. Let's do the big toe. Tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip. Next, tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip. Next, tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip. Next, tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip. And the little one, tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip. All right, let's go to the next foot. And tip, base, tip, base, tip, 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 tip, base, tip, base, tip. And the little one, tip, base, tip, base, tip, tip, base, tip, base, tip. Okay. I didn't think of, it just came to me, but one thing that you do get from doing this directly, if you ever want to heal yourself, you got to be able to feel first. You have to observe. You cannot change or manipulate anything that you cannot observe. You have to observe it first. And that's what you're doing. You're building your awareness. You know, I mean, if you want to be a healer, you want to heal people, you have a lot of awareness. So come on, let's go. Let's go from the fingertips to the lower center. And then back to the fingertips, lower center. And let's breathe in, ready, and pull. And then push, pull, and push. Now we're going to pull and leave it at the lower center and move to the fingertips. Pull, leave it. As you exhale, holding that awareness, going to the fingertips again. Breathe in, holding that awareness in your lower center as we move part of it back to our fingertips. Pull in as you breathe. Feeling that coming and adding to what you already have. Holding that awareness. Breathing in from the fingertips. And holding. Good. Let's do the other side. Tips to the lower center. Tips to the lower center. Good. And now we're going to breathe in. And then we're going to breathe out. Going to breathe in. And breathe out. Try to hold your awareness in your lower center the whole time. Breathe in. Breathe out. If it's this hard, hold your awareness in your lower center and also hold it in your hand. Pull it in and breathe out. As you can do that, let's add one. Let's add a shoulder, hand, shoulder, lower center. Pull it in as you breathe in and push it out. As you can do that, let's add another one. Let's add the elbow. Feel it all. Breathe in, hold, hold, hold as you breathe out. Relax. Good. Okay. How was that?
Feel good.
Wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you find yourself getting sleepy during these trainings, it's okay. Um, when I met Michael in from the first retreat I went to, I was falling asleep in his class. And I'm just like so upset at myself because like I paid a lot of money to come and learn from him. And then he brings it up and says it's a normal thing because you're raising your consciousness level. And when you raise your conscious level rises when you sleep, by the way, just not in this dimension. So it's used to being asleep that time. So it's time to go to sleep. But your body will adapt and stop doing it. Okay, let's go ahead and do the feet. Let's go from the foot to the knee, hip, lower center. Foot, knee, hip, lower center. Let's do it without touching foot, knee, hip, lower center. If you need to point or you need to look, go ahead. Foot, knee, hip, lower center. Let's do it with our breath. Breathe in and breathe out and push it out. Breathe in, pull it in from the foot, knee, hip, lower center. Breathe out, push it out, the hip, knee, foot. Pull it in and push it out. Good. Let's do the other foot, other leg, foot, knee, hip, lower center. Foot, knee, hip, lower center. And then we're going to pull it in as we breathe in, push out as we breathe out, pull in, and breathe out. Okay. And when you both at the same time, feet, knees, hips, lower center, feet, knee, hips, lower center. And we're going to breathe in, pull it in. We hold it at lower center as we breathe out. And we're going to go straight back to our feet. And then breathe in, holding your awareness at your lower center. Move to your feet while holding that awareness. And then breathe in. Good. And breathe in. Hold it, your awareness in your lower center, and also hold it in your feet at the same time. Don't allow the awareness to go away. Hold it there. Breathe in from the feet to the lower center, and breathe out from the lower center to the feet. Breathe in and out. Okay. Good. Good. All right. So just remember when we're going through all this stuff, your job is to notice what you experience. Where is there a difference? Is there a difference? If there is a difference, what is the difference? What is really going on? You always got to keep asking that because we always think we know. If you didn't think you know, you wouldn't be able to operate in our complex society. So well, we always got to challenge ourselves. We have to be the ones that challenge ourselves. You don't have to be. Society will slap you upside the head, but that doesn't really feel so good. So by challenging our own um, belief structures, we allow ourselves to be stronger and more powerful. Because it's not through being right that makes you strong and powerful is through being wrong. And how is that? Well, if you're wrong, it means you can learn. And if you're right, you're not going to learn anything because you're already right. And it's really that simple. I mean, you think that might be a play of words, but it's really that simple. Okay. Let's do, let's go ahead and go into our main training and let's get our heat source. If you need to heat up, go ahead and stop the video and heat up your source of heat. Ready to heat again on both. All right. And if you need time, go ahead and do that. And if not, let's go right ahead. Let's start by holding one. We can go ahead and do two at the same time. Hold one in one hand, hold another hand, and feel the heat radiating from your rags or your heating pads or your, you know, whatever you have for your heat source. Feel it pushing through your skin. Later on, we'll get into feeling and using gravity. And I don't know if you can imagine yourself doing that now. But if you're using gravity, you can feel what's in the field and you can feel things that manipulate that field, that come into that field, as is the effect of gravity. But you can feel the heat, you can feel the pressure. Even though your body's not on the top part of the rag, you can still feel that radiating. You can feel it even pushing through your hands, going through your bones. But it's okay if you can't. Don't worry. We'll get there. I promise. Okay. Let's put down the heat sources. And let's just hold our hands and feel that warmth, what it feels like. And let's do this. Feel that warmth in your hands and feel beside it in the wrist, on the forearm, where it's not warm. What's the difference? What's the sensation? Is there any color to it? Well, we don't see color. I mean, just putting it out there. Is there a sound to it? Is there not? And what do you feel is in your hand that's not in your forearm? There is a difference, and that's those. If there's a difference, you'll feel it. So, what is the difference? Okay, it doesn't matter what the answers are. Just notice. All right, let's pick up. Let's see. No, we won't be able to do that. Let's use our left arm. Let's put the heat source on the elbow again. And we're going to, as we breathe in, you're going to really feel your hand and you're going to breathe in to the elbow, breathe the heat in, collect it in the elbow, and then breathe it out to the hand. Feel the hand getting hotter. And then breathe it in to the elbow and breathe it out to the hand. Breathe it in and out. Breathe it in to the elbow, and this time we're going to breathe out to our shoulder. Breathe out the heat. and then come back to your elbow, and then breathe out to the hand. Good. Okay. All right. Do that with the other side. Heat source on the elbow. And we pull in from the hand with our breath. And we push it out back to our hands. Heating up our hands. Pull it in. And it doesn't mean that you're actually heating up your hands. You can be. That is possible, by the way. But we don't really care about that right now. We are going for the sensation. Okay. Let's not make this harder than it needs to be. Pull it into the elbow and push it out to the shoulder. Pull it into the elbow from the shoulder. And then push the heat out to the hand. Good. All right. So that's the reason why we go to the shoulders, because we're looking for differences. The hands were heated up. They don't have the heat source now, but they were heated up. You can still feel that. The elbows have the heat source, and the shoulders haven't had either. So we want you to feel the difference of what it feels like to go to each one. Remember, this is all about observation, just observing. I mean, you're doing, but you're also observing. Okay. All right. So let's do this. We're going to keep the heat source in the hand, and then we're going to put a heat source on the shoulder. And we're going to pull in as you breathe in from the hand to the shoulder, and then breathe out from the shoulder to the hand. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Good. All right, let's do the other side. Ready? Breathe in, pull in the heat to the heat source on the shoulder, and then we're pushing it out from the shoulder to the hand. And in and out. And in and out. Good. Okay. All right, let's do this. We're gonna put one of the heat sources on your heart. You hold one in the other hand. We're gonna pull from the heart, from the hand to the heart as you breathe in, and then we're gonna exhale and push out to the hand. So hand, elbow, shoulder, heart. As you breathe in, and then breathe out. Breathe in and out. Good. All right. All right, now we're going to do this. We're going to put the heat source on the shoulder, and then we're going to put the other one on the elbow. Put your hand on the elbow, press that, and then put it on the shoulder and press that. You really want to feel that. Okay? All right. Now let's take that. Let's go back to one on the heart and one on the hand. All right, should we also be able to feel the heat in the elbow and the shoulder? And let's go from the hand to the heart as you breathe in. and out. In and out. Good. Okay. How do you feel? That put you on the
Yeah.
spot.
Very relaxed.
Yeah.
So relaxed.
Well, it's good. Heat tends to do that to the body. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the other side. Let's put one on the shoulder and hold the other one in the hand. And let's pull in from the hand to the shoulder and breathe out from the shoulder to the hand. Pull in and out. In and out. Good. Now let's hold on the heart, one in the hand and the heart. So we pull it, breathe in and out. In and out. In and out. Good. All right. So let's hit the heat source on our lower center. Matter of fact, hit one on the front and one on the back. Okay. Feel that, pull that heat into the center, into the lower center. All right. Good. Now hold each one in each hand. And this time we're going to pull in from both hands and we're going to go all the way to the lower center. And then we're going to breathe it out. We pull it in and out. Okay, you ready? And pull it in. Feel in your lower center, the heat you just left there, and out. In and out. In and out. In and out. Pull in, pull the heat from the rags or the heating pads you have, and pull it into your lower center. Pull it in, heating up the lower center, feeling the heat increase, and then push that heat back out to the rags or heating pads. Pull it in, pull the heat in, and push it out. Good. Okay. So, how was that? Was that more difficult, easier?
No, it just gets easier to me because we've been doing the basics, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, and that's the way it's supposed to be. These increases in difficulties are not big jumps. Sometimes they are, depending on where you're at. You know, honestly, as I keep saying, there's going to be some people that this is extremely difficult for, but that's okay. And I promise you, it's worth pushing through it. It really is. And there's some that this is going to be like, wow, this is so easy. And I promise you, push through it. It's worth it. And yeah. Um, you have any other questions? Because we're right at the end. We don't want to push to the next.
Thank you, Joel. Actually, it's not from me again. It's, yeah, from our viewer. He asked, Joel, I don't know why it seems that some organs or locations feel hotter than the other areas.
Mm.
Is there something wrong with me like that?
Mm.
It.
Well, okay. So first off, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not I'm not prescribing anything or whatever. But you're as you gain consciousness, you're going to feel your organs, and if you have any damage to them, you're going to feel that. It's just the way it works. It's not. I would not. I would be thankful for it because if you did not feel it, you would not know it, and you would continue to be most likely the damage or whatever. However, whatever will probably continue. So now you can feel it, you can do something about it. So it's a good thing. And that's going to happen. You're going to feel more and more and more. And if you got damage, if you have injuries, you're going to feel them. That's the way it's designed. For us to heal, it's designed for us to feel the pain. That's emotional and physical. You got to go through it. The body needs nutrients and stuff to get to it to work out its issues, and it needs to be able to take the bad stuff away. When you numb it, you cut off the blood supply. I don't mean that you cut off blood supply, but you lessen it. You lessen it because it is tied with your awareness, and hence why our society is filled with people that are injured, and they're chronically injured, not because they have to be, but because they don't give enough time for their injuries to heal, enough time, effort, and attention. Hence the pain. We want to numb it, and this is what it has come to. So let's stop numbing and let's gain more consciousness and then start healing the real problems that we have. And then we can be happy. Doesn't that sound good? We can start living our lives the way that we know that we can, but we're not yet, but we can. So that's why this type of training is very important, because the more consciousness you have, the more you can achieve, the more you can do, the more you can do on your own, which is important. What happens when whoever's doing whatever for you is not there anymore? And don't ever think that everything's going to stay the same, because it never stays the same. So the more self-sufficient you are, the better, which requires skills, which requires consciousness. I promise you, you are in the right spot if you are looking to gain power, to gain skills, to be able to change your life. You really are. Sorry, I got off on that side rant there. My bad. But yeah. Anything else, Lenny?
Think that would be all. The other questions were already answered back in the other video. So thank you,
Okay.
Joel.
All righty. Well, it was super nice being here. We do really enjoy doing this. We really look forward to this every day because we know how much it's going to impact people's lives. So thank you for coming, and we hope to see you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Well, we definitely enjoyed having you here with us today. And if you found value in what we're doing, please do leave a like and subscribe to our channel. And if you want to interact with us more, do go to joelskipper.com. In the blog, we try to do a live question and answer session on the weekends, usually on Saturdays. Sometimes we have to skip it. We might have something to do or whatnot, but try to do that every weekend. Just because, we don't do a lot of the talk. So do go and join us there, and we'll do a lot of the talk. All right. Well, we definitely enjoyed you. I just want to say it doesn't matter what level you're at, it doesn't matter what difficulties you're going through in your life. Anybody can learn how to build their consciousness through learning how to meditate. And by doing that, we can reach higher states of enlightenment, and that will give us the power to do things that we can't do right now. So it definitely makes our life much easier. All right. Well, we definitely enjoyed you, and make sure you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.